Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Travel with Terri podcast, featuring Terri Guthrie, a Dallas, Texas-based travel journalist who loves to talk about luxury family vacations, regional food and culture, national parks, historic attractions, and so much more. We are absolutely getting ready for the holiday season here on Big Blend Radio's Travel with Terri show. And today she's taking us out of the country. We are going to Paris. Imagine a really romantic Christmas time in Paris. I mean, this is, I would think, one of the most epic experiences you can have over the holidays with a loved one. I have not experienced this, but I think Terri has, maybe, and Terri and Ron, hopefully. But how are you doing, Terri? Are you getting ready for the holidays?
Lisa, yes, I am. I'm so excited. I feel like I'm a little ahead this year, even though I have so many things going on, but I'm feeling a little organized, and that's always a great way to start the holidays. But I know it's going to get crazy soon, and getting ready for a couple of trips coming up as well. But I'm just excited to share this wonderful trip, one of our best trips ever, which was Paris at Christmas time. And it just doesn't get any better or any more romantic than that.
Tell us a little bit about that. I know we're going to get through it, that there's a lot of moments. There's all these different experiences you can have in Paris. And this goes beyond the Eiffel Tower, right? There's all kinds
Yes.
of lights, markets, things like that. So this is for, people planning this. And I know a lot of people actually just get on a plane and fly to Paris, depending on where they live. It's like an easy trip. There's all the cultural side too. So yeah, give us a little rundown of what we can expect.
I have to tell you, I think everybody knows this, but Paris is always a good idea. It's, of course, one of our very favorite cities, but at Christmas, it's pure enchantment. We just loved exploring the magic of Christmas. I mean, the magic of Paris at Christmas time, the glittering lights on the Champs-Élysées and the scent of roasted chestnuts, which is very much a thing there, just floating throughout the cobblestone streets. It's really a celebration of the city's most enchanting season. I mean, it's like if it could not get better, it does. It's like, wow, it just ups at a whole nother level. And we loved like just wandering through the festive markets they have there and, peeking into the bakeries filled with all their beautiful holiday treats and just walking hand in hand, just strolling along the River Seine. So I just have to say, whether you are dreaming of a Parisian holiday, this is a romantic journey at Christmas, and it will definitely wrap you up in the wonder of a Parisian Noel. So I cannot recommend it enough, obviously. It's absolutely magical.
Wow. Now I'm thinking some people might get, popped that special question on this kind of trip.
Well, I'm sure they do. I mean, it could not be a more, romantic setting. And I know that, one of the bridges there has all those little locks on it, the locks of love. And yeah, it's just romantic and it's just takes you to another time and place. I think that's one of the reasons why we love Paris. And when Ron was flying for Delta, that was one of his routes. So this is crazy, but I have been to Paris probably over 20 times, and it just seems insane. And then I actually have been a solo traveler in Paris as well. I kind of broke the code on that a while back. I was always going with Ron, and we would go to Paris, and then we would go to New York City, and then back to Paris, and then to Atlanta. And then it just occurred to me one time, I was like, do I have to go on to New York, or can I just stay in Paris and stay here a few extra days and wait for you, knowing he's coming back. And so that's what we did for years. And so I would have time with him. Then I would be a solo traveler there for a while. And then he would come back. And I'd always have all kind of fun new things planned for him when he came back to Paris. So yeah, I know Paris pretty well and love it. And just even talking about it makes me want to go back right now.
That's awesome. I mean, I remember we talked about you doing the bicycle rides in Paris. That was part of your solo adventures. I think that would be kind of nice with all the twinkly lights. And I know the Christmas lights, this is my thing. And I know from everyone who loves Christmas and the holiday season, and even Hanukkah is all about light. We celebrate light in the dark season. Winter's dark. That's what I mean on that. I just think even the cathedrals in Paris and I just feel like twinkly lights and stained glass lit up at night. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know, that kind of magic. And then the Eiffel Tower itself, I want to get to. But so tell us a little bit about the Christmas lights. And even I wanted to ask if, because I know a lot of people go on those river cruises and
Mhm.
go on those Christmas markets. And everyone's always talking about Germany and Bavaria and all these different places. But does Paris get out and do that too?
Yes, not only Paris, but I have to tell you that, traveling a lot to Europe through the holiday season, just about every city we were visiting had Christmas markets. So Paris definitely does. I know Rome does. I was surprised Amsterdam does. So yeah, everybody in Europe kind of has embraced the Christmas market. They love it, and that's always a treat to get to
Mm.
go to those. I'm with you. I love the lights, and Paris's name is the City of Lights. It even gets more illuminated at Christmas, and especially down the Champs Elysees. That is a beautiful, very famous avenue anyway, and it's always gorgeous. Christmas, oh my goodness. So there are 400 trees that line that street, and to see them all illuminated, there are millions of lights. So that is something that is just beautiful, and it's just really kind of at the end of the Champs that you have the European Christmas markets. And that's the area that they're at, and there's so much fun. Santa Claus, comes there. They have all kind of entertainment going on. I know that they have a lot of cool things you can buy, foods, and get you a cup of the hot mulled wine and walk around and hear carolers. That's it. That's a definitely a place you'd want to go. But also the Tuileries Garden has a
Mhm.
Christmas market there and ice rink, and that's kind of near the Louvre. And there again, that's so much fun to, just walk around with your wine, buy you some of the roasted chestnuts. I didn't
Mhm.
until I started traveling in Europe a lot. I did not even know roasted chestnuts was a real thing.
Yes, it is. It
It
is.
is.
And you know what? We do have them in this country too, but growing up in England, that was part of it. And then we used to play with conkers. I can't even pronounce it. We used, as kids, there was a game we used to play with them called knockers. And knockers or conkers or something. And you knock each other's nuts out. That's all I
Oh,
know as kids. That didn't sound right,
that's
but
funny.
you do.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was a big deal for kids when it was in season. But now we finally get them in stores across America. So we can get them and try them ourselves. Cause I don't ever see roasted chestnuts in this country ever,
No, no,
but
and they smell
I
so
did
good.
this
I'm
year.
thinking,
Mm.
also when I was in Spain, that was my most recent European trip was in Spain, and this wasn't even at Christmas, and they were roasting chestnuts on the street. Just it's a thing, like like we have the roasted nuts here, just
Hmm.
like pecans or walnuts
Oh
or
yeah.
something. That's their thing is roasting chestnuts, and oh my goodness, they just smell so so good. But one of my favorite like festive highlights and just a romantic experience in itself is going to Galeries Lafayette, and that is their I guess you would call it a version of a mall, but it's so upscale and exquisite. I hate to say mall with it, but it is the most amazing store, Lisa, and it is just, all things Paris. But I love, love, love Galeries Lafayette and their Christmas tree and their elaborate decorations and window displays are just something to see. And this is the perfect place to buy gifts, any kind
Hmm.
of Christmas gifts, and it would be just extra special because it's from Paris, of course. But this is a really historic store. I mean, it's over 100 years old, and it has continued to be owned by the same family. So it's family owned, and there's just so many things I love about it. I said it's perfect place to buy a gift, but when you go there and you just are looking at it, the inside is it's like, I don't know how many stories it is, maybe
Oh,
6
oh,
stories on the inside, and then then it's open in the center, and it's just this huge dome that's about 140 feet across, I believe, and, it's a steel frame Art Nouveau glass dome So that in itself is spectacular to see. You can see that, any time of the year, but they have weekly fashion shows there. They have cooking classes. They have 350 different brands of clothes for women.
What?
I mean, it's a tourist destination in itself. It's 750,000 square feet, I think. Yeah,
Of
this is
shopping.
yeah, shopping and dining. And yeah, one of the things I was going to say also that they have this rooftop terrace there that I love. Is a great place just to go and have coffee or,
Mhm.
have a bite to eat. Is a beautiful rooftop terrace. And it has spectacular views of the Eiffel Tower from there and also one of the Opera House, which I'll talk about in a minute, which is one of my favorite places in Paris. But now, what they have on the rooftop at Christmas, they have an ice skating rink. And so, can you imagine being up on the skyline of
Oh, wow.
the city lights and getting to
Wow.
see the Eiffel Tower? I mean, that just sounds like something out of a Christmas movie or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that, what we're talking about kind of puts that joyful spirit, the world needs that right now. And
Uh huh.
kind of believe in magic, kind of. Christmas brings, I think, with the twinkly lights and, Elf on the Shelf,
Yes.
this element. And I was going to say Father Christmas. You can tell I talked about England today on the show, but Santa Claus and things like that. It brings in this. Yes, there's a spiritual side, which also brings hope and joy, right? And so I
Yes.
think that we need this. And when you talk about all this, it just seems magical and reminds us to take time out and enjoy those moments because that's what life is about. And travel definitely is huge. But I don't know, as you're talking, I'm like, you got to get in the spirit, Lisa. Come on, don't be so bah humbug on things because
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It sounds really magical. And as kids, didn't we have that especially? All of it was huge. Huh?
Exactly. And you don't have to go to Paris to get the Christmas spirit. I mean, there's so many
Oh, but it's
wonderful
so
things
cool if you can.
right here. But yeah, it's a whole new elevated experience. And this just happened to be an opportunity that we had. And I will have to say it was extra special because we were there on my birthday, which is in December. So
Happy
it's
birthday early.
Thank you. That had to be one of the most special birthdays ever. It's kind of hard to top that. But there's so many like iconic, romantic moments there. Like because it was my birthday, Ron had gotten us reservations and we got to eat at the top of the Eiffel Tower. My goodness, at Jules Verne. This is a Michelin rated restaurant. And I just had to keep on pinching myself. I'm like, I cannot believe I'm in Paris inside the Eiffel Tower having my birthday dinner. That was a
Go,
moment
Ron.
I
He
will
got he got
never
husband
forget.
points. He got
Yes, yes.
husband points. This is the
He,
romantic, Yeah, see, I see. Yeah, because then you got to go all the way through to February, Valentine's Day. You got this all set up, Terry. This is
I work
going.
it at every angle. Yes, I do. Yeah. But I mean, I used to not like having a December birthday, but yeah, it's like I had that and Christmas together. Yeah, I can
Bring
have a
those
lot.
guys, take me out
Yes,
to
I
dinner. I'd
can.
like it at the top of the Eiffel Tower.
Yes,
Yes,
and it's like
please.
the whole world is celebrating with me, but, the Eiffel Tower, just if anyone doesn't know this, but it sparkles, with a light show every hour after sunset. It is
Year round?
just
I didn't know.
Yes, yes, year round. I think they started it, like, as a Christmas thing years ago, like, maybe a decade ago, and it was so popular is that they have this light show every night now. So it's every hour, and then it's on for about I don't know, it lasts only probably about 5 or 10 minutes, but, you've just never seen anything more beautiful than the Eiffel Tower sparkling, and there's so many different viewpoints to watch it, and yeah, and I don't care what you're doing in Paris, if you have a view of that and those lights come on, it just stops you right in your steps. You just or sit there just mesmerized, looking at it.
I've
So
heard
this
people can cruise and see it too.
yeah, oh, definitely.
You can be on water in the twinkly light zone and see that.
Yeah,
Romantic.
you definitely yeah. It's so romantic. It's so romantic and elegant night at the Opera House. Now, let me tell you, hands down, one of the most beautiful buildings in the world is
Oh,
the Palais Garnier
you're
Opera House
pronouncing
there.
this.
Yeah, well, I'm probably butchering it, but it's very, very similar to the Hall of Mirrors in Versailles. In fact, the Opera House, I believe, was built first, and then I'm really not sure which one came first, but they're kind of duplicates of each other. Of in Versailles and the Opera House. That's how elaborate this one is, and you can do a 2 o'clock tour for English speaking people that I have done several times, and to take a tour of the opera house is something else. And then to get to go to a opera or a ballet, which by the way, that is where ballet started, at that opera house. So it has a lot of
Oh,
history,
history.
and across the street from it is Galleries Lafayette. And so when you're on that rooftop terrace, if you look down, you're right at the opera house, which it is a beautiful viewpoint from being above it and looking down. But I always tell anyone that asks me anything about Paris, I'm like, number one, go to the opera house. I think a lot of people don't know about it, but um, I mean, they may not know about it. There's just so many other things in Paris that
Yeah,
may
it's
get
just
more
yeah,
billing, you know?
yeah. It's a hidden gem, yet it's like
It
really
really is,
noteworthy.
but
Yeah.
it's one of the world's most opulent venues. I can't tell you how beautiful it is. And then I have to tell you about another, very romantic activity, I guess you would say, or place to go is Le Crazy Horse de Paris.
Ooh.
And, we had seen advertisements for that or, in our hotel. I would see Crazy House all the time, and I always thought that was a crazy name, and it does not translate to me,
I thought we were
as
going
I
to go
say
back to
before.
one of our national parks here. Okay.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I know. And I don't know what the backstory is on that name, but I will have to tell you, when we go to Paris, we always go to this. We love Crazy Horse, and it is very romantic, and it's a very sexy show. It's a very small, glamorous cabaret, I guess is how you would describe it. It's real artistic and kind of an intimate experience. It's not hundreds of people there or anything like that. It's a smaller venue, and it just really it kind of folk sensuality and just has really unique choreography and lots of very, very cool visual effects. This is not like a can show at all. It's kind of precise dancing and has a lot of innovative lighting, and it's just very stylish and modern. And like I said, it's a kind of a central show, but it's very Parisian. And that's all I'll say about that. I'm just telling you, it's a great adult place to go. That's very romantic.
It's adult. Oh, so is it a little risque?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, indeed. It is.
Wrong with a little
It's fun,
risqueness.
and it's very tastefully done. Very tastefully done. So, yeah, I always recommend Crazy Horse. And then you mentioned about the Seine River, and that we like doing dinner cruises on that. And if you're going to go on the Seine River, if you can go at night, it's fabulous during the day, but at night it's like 10 times more fantastic, just because of all the different beautiful landmarks and monuments that are illuminated.
Mm.
So it's a lot of fun. You usually these gourmet cruises they have really good food. You're gonna have good food pretty much anywhere in Paris, and then they have live music, and then you go under multiple bridges, but of course, the Point Alexander the Third Bridge, that's the one of the most iconic bridges there that is absolutely spectacular. And I would say when you get through with your cruise, go back to that bridge, walk across that bridge, take pictures at that bridge. It's very picture worthy and beautiful. So those are some of my favorite romantic
Mm.
things to do in Paris. But since it's Christmas and we're talking about Christmas stuff, there's a lot of cultural and spiritual touches that we love and have always enjoyed there. And one is going to Notre Dame. And I'm so excited that it's reopened. I have to tell
Man,
you,
I
when that
know.
church burned, Lisa, I sat here and cried like a baby.
I know.
I have loved going to that church. I have prayed in that church. I have gone to services in that church,
Oh,
organ concerts in that church. I've
wow.
spent a lot of time in that church and love it. And I know people around the world wept when that you're just like, how can this happen? But anyway, that is definitely one, you wanna go and see this restored masterpiece and, attend Christmas mass there, or you will have a very soulful and spiritual experience there. We did before it burned, and I think you can still do it. I think Ron checked on that for me because I was wondering if you could still do this. But just know that if you go to Notre Dame, as in a lot of the churches in Europe, you can do a rooftop tour, and those are so much fun, and this one was especially cool because this is where the whole backstory of the Hunchback of Notre Dame takes place
Oh,
on
that's
the
right.
rooftop of that. Yes, with Quasimodo and all that. So, anyway, that's that's all coming back. So that's good to know because that's super special and, something that we so enjoyed. And again, beautiful, beautiful.
Open to do that. They're back open. I
Yeah,
just looked it up and it says yes, since September 20th of 2025, you can now go up to the roof and have guided tours of
yeah,
the
yeah. So
Notre
that's a
Dame
kind of a little
towers. Yes. Mhm.
hidden gem as well. And
Three
then
up to
oh,
the
yeah,
top of
yeah,
the
you'll get
South
to
Tower.
work out
Ooh.
all of these, rooftop tours, like I've done the one at the St. Peter's, at the Vatican. I'm telling you, there's probably twice as many steps on that. But so, yeah, you've got to be a little bit in shape to do those, I would have to say. Or you have to take a lot of breaks because there are a lot of steps involved. But, also, like some other of my 2 other favorite churches in Paris, I have to mention is Saint Chapelle, which is one of the oldest one that has the most stained glass you talked about.
Oh.
That is not too far. It's literally about a block away from Notre Dame. And then Sacré-Cœur, my goodness, this is beautiful, beautiful church, and this is there at Montmartre. It's on a hillside. It's actually the highest point in Paris, and so as you walk up the hill to get to it, that's another hike, no joke. But oh my goodness, at the beautiful views you have looking back down over the city. I love that. That is one place I always go also when we're in Paris, but they have beautiful nativity scenes and Christmas mass and concerts in all of these historic churches. So super special and a really spiritual time with the Christmas season. And then another area that we love very much is the Latin Quarter, and this is the oldest section of Paris. And we just love just wandering around like the cobblestone streets there. They're narrow and I mean you feel like you're in some type of like medieval movie or something, very narrow cobblestone streets, but just one adorable shop or cozy little restaurant or pub after the other.
Oh.
And they're all, like smaller and little sidewalk cafes and some
Mm.
really cool bookshops and stuff. But
Oh, I love that.
one of my favorite stories, I have to tell you that of the time we were in Paris at Christmas was just walking through the Latin Quarter and we could hear Christmas carolers and I just could not believe it that they were singing many of our traditional and beloved Christmas Christian songs, many of them were in English. And so I was standing there and enjoying it so much. And Ron was too, of course. But then the next thing I know, they invited me to sing along with them and they handed me a book and just included me in their group. And I just remember it was just such a surreal moment being in the Latin Quarter there in Paris with these Christmas carolers. And they had some old, traditional clothing on and getting to be a part of that, singing Silent Night with them with Notre Dame in the distance. Well, I
That's
just don't know
awesome.
how I'll ever top that. That was,
Amazing.
a beautiful, beautiful moment that I'll never forget.
I have to ask this to top it all off. How is the hot chocolate in Paris
Oh
at
my gosh.
Christmas time?
Well, it's just delicious and it's beautiful. I don't even know how they make hot chocolate so pretty, but
I'm
do.
like, get the
I mean, everything in
marshmallows out, and
Paris
I think
is
they're a little more elevated than throwing marshmallows on.
yeah, I know. Yeah, they just have so many great like custom holiday treats there, like the mulled wine I talked about. Gingerbread is a big deal. The
Mm.
sausage and the specialties from different various regions in France. They're just all very much a part of celebrating Christmas in Paris. And yeah, I loved that we had some delicious crepes, which is one of my favorite things.
Oh,
So
yes.
a lot of these little Christmas markets will have the waffles. Of course, the hot chocolate is a big deal over there, and they accompany those a lot with these delicious cinnamon biscuits. So I'm telling you, if my suitcase had been any bigger, I would have stocked up on some of these delicious foods and some of the handcrafted toys and many
Epic.
unique items.
This is epic. I mean, this whole trip is epic, and I really want to do the river cruise. I want to do that because I
Yes.
just like to float and look at lights. Like if I don't, just because you can people watch, I don't know. I just want to do that. And it just feels very relaxing to me right now,
Right, yeah.
you
Well, and
know?
they are very, low key. They're not your,
Oh,
typical cruise ships like we have in
yeah.
here, that have, all this entertainment and all this activity going on all the time. They're a lot more laid back, relaxing, and
Mm.
would be a good time to write a book or something probably. But I think that those are very popular, the river cruises. In fact, we have some friends, Mississippi, Oklahoma friends, I should say. They just returned from one of those river cruises and just cannot talk enough about it.
No, I was talking about the dinner cruise. I wasn't talking about just
Oh, the
like a
dinner
cruise
cruise.
cruise.
Oh,
That's what I was talking about. It's like, yeah, I mean, I think
okay.
the cruise sounds good too. All of it sounds good. Experiences are pretty much like a fairy tale, like everybody put it on your wish list, and
I
bucket
know.
list, but I was talking about the Seine River dinner cruise.
Uh,
Sorry, I should have put
yes,
the word dinner in there. Yeah, because
yes. Oh,
that to
yeah,
me
yeah.
is it's just a different way to just kind of calm down when you're in a place we get so hurried. And I always think if you can float on the water somewhere, it just calms everything down. And,
I know.
you
I am
don't get
all about
lost.
the water too, Lisa. I mean, if there's anything to do on or in the water, I'm game. I'm very attracted to the water. That's another thing. I mean, it's another thing I feel like we always have to do when we're in Paris is do some kind of cruise on the Seine River. And we always see something new or learn something new. There's some beautiful buildings and just beautiful architecture there to be seen from the river. And like I said, it's beautiful any time of day or night, but I would highly recommend going at night if you can because it
Then you can see
is
the lights.
just
Ooh.
magical to
Mm.
see in the evening. Yes, it's a pinch me moment for sure.
Now, just closing up here, if someone was to pop the question, because this is so romantic, and over the
Yes.
holidays, there's a lot of popping of questions starting now,
Mhm.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then New Year's, and then all the way through to Valentine's Day. That's just so popular, especially if family's around and you can quickly ask the dad, like, can I do this? I
Mhm.
want to steal your daughter or steal your son, I want to steal one of them, and, they're there. So you could just do it all in one package. But where would you say out of everywhere you've been would be the best place to do the pop the question?
I would pop the question on the lawn there by the Eiffel Tower. One side of the Eiffel Tower has kind of like a street, and it's kind of the Eiffel Tower kind of sits up close to that street area. But on the other side of the Eiffel Tower is a big probably several acres of just this flat lawn. That's where maybe you've seen people like picnic or something, but you can get the best view of the Eiffel Tower from there because you don't have any obstructions. So
Oh,
um, I would say to if you really want to do something romantic, I would propose there and where you can take pictures and have the Eiffel Tower in the background. But after the person proposes, then have reservations there at one of the restaurants in the Eiffel Tower and then have a romantic dinner, pop the champagne there, and then afterwards go to the very top and look at the city views and have a very romantic kiss.
well, she just sealed that up. Well done. Well done, Terry. Well, thank you so much for this. I had no idea about we always talk about Paris being romantic, but like you went there. Here's your list, everybody. So check it out, everyone. Thank you so much. We're here every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Central Time. Travel with Terry. And next week, I believe we're going to follow up with our Missouri coverage. Last week, we talked about Springfield, with the birthplace of Route 66. And I believe next week we will be talking about Branson. But you never know. Things can change because you know what? Terri travels, and travel always changes is the middle name for travel. So
Yes.
thank you so much. And listen, have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Lisa. You too.
Thank
I
you,
look
everyone
forward to our
listening.
next podcast. Okay.
Yes, I wish everyone listening a happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. Thanks for joining us here on Big Blend Radio's Travel with Terri podcast. You can follow Terri's adventures at travelwithterri.net. And that's Terri with an I, not a Y. Follow us here at bigblendradio.com. Happy travels!